model, and it has also decreased the pricing for normal O3 by 80%.
Yeah, so this is a very important release from OpenAI. The model itself has really good scores across major performing benchmarks, and it's ahead of Gemini 2.5 Pro and Claude for Opus. It has limitations. It can generate images, and it's slowly being rolled out to Pro and Teams. So users, I thought it was important, between important and essential, given how ChatGPT is used and these models are used across the board. So what do you think about this, John?
Yeah, essential, baby. We have the market leader coming out with the best model. It was later in the news today. We're going to see, Mark Zuckerberg's frustration with his own ability to generate, leading AI, and he's just put $14 billion into scale AI to get access to their CEO, basically, because he just feels like he's fallen behind or not, can't compete here. So I think once again, OpenAI takes the ribbon, and our AI leader needs to know that.
Okay, so essential from you. Ankash, what did you think?
Definitely essential, Luda. I think, as you mentioned, it is the best model right now, best reasoning model right now, and coming out from OpenAI and 500 million plus users for ChatGPT, right? Definitely important.
Okay, Paul, going essential.
I was more optional or important. I mean, I think this is an incremental improvement. It's not rolled out in my version. I just checked. If the AI leader already is using this, yeah, so I had it important.
Okay, so rather than essential, so you are just, it's not an incremental improvement. I think it's a leap, Paul. I wouldn't necessarily agree with you. It's a next level of models, I think. That's why I was going essential.
We should have named it 04 then.
I'm sorry?
We should have named it 04.
Yeah,
but these naming, this is idiotville. I mean, I'm sure they're geniuses on lots of dimensions. They're idiots on naming.
Okay. With our lingo, essential it is. Leaders need to know that it is out. So essential it is. Let's proceed, Ankash.
Okay, the next one comes from Mistral, and Mistral has released a pair of AI reasoning models called Magistral.
Yes, sort of a catch up from Mistral. What did you think about this, John?
Yeah, definitely optional. The scale of this stuff, it's like, oh, poor Mistral. They only raised $1.5 billion. It's like, give me a break. But these are Me Too models. They don't even perform better than the other ones their size. They felt like they needed to, put reasoning models out there, so they went ahead and did it. And I think Mistral, there's going to be a lot flowing to Mistral because of the uncertainty of our trade and IP and human, immigrant policy here in the United States. I think we're emboldening the Europeans and Chinese to really, get working together. So Mistral is going to continue to be super important because of their geopolitical position and the quality of their models, but this one's optional.
Okay. Optional. I was actually thinking important for the reasons you stated. Paul, what did you think?
Optional. It's an announcement and still needs customers.
Okay. Ankash, what's your thinking?
Luda, I was on important just because we have been having these briefings with various Gen AI vendors, right? And one of the things that we have realized is that a lot of enterprises, they have experimented with these large models, and then it has costed them so much that the ROI is negligible. And then some of them have transitioned to these small models, right? So 24 billion is a small model compared to an O3 Pro, right?
Yeah.
So using these small reasoning models, especially when we are in the age of AI agents, I think this might be important.
I see. And by the way, Mistral says it's 10 times faster because O3 Pro lost speed, and it's actually delivers, it sounds like good result, but lost speed. 10 times faster is actually pretty good. However, the quality on Kaj seems like not quite there yet. So for that reason, let's go optional for now. Optional. Let's proceed.
Luda, I want to say hello to Paula Simpkins, who's online. So appreciate all the viewers who mentioned hello and in the comments.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Paula, for being here, and other listeners. Yeah, just tell us what you think as we proceed. Okay, sounds good. Let's go next one, Ankaj.
The next one comes from Kriya, and they have announced Kriya 1, which is their frontier image generation model. It
Yeah.
provides some really great set of images. I was between important and optional for this because, as we say, another everyday miracle.
Yeah, it sounds like a good model. It's free to use and it has really good underpinnings. Quite a number of designers are using it. So it has a serious install base. But it was optional for me as well. John, what did you think?
Yeah, I was giving it optional everyday miracle. Beautiful stuff. But
Yeah.
Let's wait till Thursday.
Paul, okay with optional?
Optional.
Optional. Optional it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next one comes from the Wall Street Journal and talks about how news sites are getting crushed by Google's new AI tool.
Yeah, we have been talking about it for a while. And now this article actually gives specific data points. And it's kind of really depressing to look at. So Business Insider had their traffic drop 55%, and they had a layoff as a result of that, not surprisingly. And then there is discussions about Washington Post and New York Times drop in traffic. We've been predicting it, talking about it, and now it actually is supported with the big numbers, where the publishers are trying to get the tools to engage the folks, their readers directly, and get them to come to their sites directly. So that's the strategy of conquering this. But Google, it's certainly challenging Google, and Google is coming up with AI mode that will also take more traffic away from publishers. So I rated it as important, if not essential, because that's a very critical thing for leaders to know, especially if they depend on this traffic for revenue. What did you think about this, Paul?
I was leaning more towards essential. I'm interested in John. I mean, I think we have a 30-year monopoly here where it's kind of status quo, and many companies, including news organizations, kind of got used to status quo. And now Google's in an intergalactic war, and its whole business model is being challenged. We saw in the Learning Lab this week from Rosemary that click-through rates are falling. And news sites, like many companies, relied on this monopolist, and they're not changing. And it's a real lesson in not to get too dependent on these platforms. And all these news sites were really overly dependent on Google, and now they're paying the price.
Yeah. John, going essential, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd be okay with essential for the trend. I mean, I think this particular article is not bad. It's got good data in there. I mean, the drop off is spectacular. I mean, talk about putting a nail in the coffin of traditional media. I wouldn't. I think the funeral for Google itself is a little premature. I think that they're they continue, I think, to work with the content traffic, and then don't forget YouTube. I mean, YouTube is an amazing business and is growing like crazy. So Yeah, I'm long Alphabet, but I'm short the Wall Street Journal here.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what develops, but this is sobering, actually.
Very.
And Lud, I just want to highlight that the percentage drop. It's a 50% drop in the
Yeah.
Washington Post volume. This is
Yeah.
not 5% gone down. This is already cut in half.
Akash, if you'd scroll down to the graphic. The other thing, I think there is a broader message here, which is, and we're certainly, living it in our firm. Don't trust the platforms. Like, you need to have direct access to your audience if there's any way you can, because it's just horrific. We have our friend Chris Brock. He had over 300,000 viewers on Facebook, and Facebook changed their algorithm, and all of a sudden, he had to figure out what was going on there because he wasn't getting the volumes that he was getting. Anyway.
Yeah. No, this is serious, but we've said it so many times. Pay attention. Okay, so we are going essential, Ankash. Okay.
Yes, Luda.
Yeah. Okay. Essential it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next one comes from VentureBeat and talks about how Zip has debuted 50 AI agents to kill procurement inefficiencies, and they already have OpenAI on board.
Yeah, I ran procurement for one of the businesses at GE, so I know for sure how difficult it is. You don't get the best people. It's kind of the afterthought in the business, even though it commands a big budget and stuff. So it's a difficult function, but this company focused on it and doing great. It sounds like. John, what did you think about this?
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, I was ready to give it an important or an optional, but then toward the end, they're not released yet. None of this stuff is released, and it's very promotional in terms of its tone. So, this is almost like advertising content. It's not just news. But if there's being released, to me, it'd be important or essential. But given the fact it's not, the way they went through it, the partnership with OpenAI, I think this again shows OpenAI being very smart. Going after important functions, as you said, Luna, that command a big budget. Even though they may be low status within an organization, they have high importance, and they're certainly non-discretionary. So it's a smart area.
Yeah, why do you say it's not released? They cite all these customers that are using it, right?
I thought
it's in the test mode, so you need to apply to get to work with them. But it is out there with a number of big customers.
Okay. I thought that the not released part I thought was at the very end.
Yeah. You can't sign up, right? I think. Paul, what did you think about it? Going for it sounds like going optional, right, John?
Yeah.
I was going to go optional, but yep. I can be convinced of important based on the other stuff.
I was going important for a couple of reasons. One is this is not hard coding. So they actually built it essentially with vibe tools.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating. And they put 50 agents together, quite intricate agents. They were able to build a middle tier. So they're not an outsider to the company. They are middleware, right? So they get access to all the data that is within the enterprise. That's why they're able to do such a good job. So for that reason, I thought there are couple of things in there that are very instructive, and that's why I thought it's important. What did you think, Paul?
I can support important. We certainly get more requests about supply chain, and this falls into supply chain. It's a case study. It's a new area we haven't spoke much about. AI leaders need to continue to send examples and real life case studies to their colleagues in different departments, and this falls into that.
Okay. Ankash, support important?
Yes, Luda, for all the reasons that you mentioned, important for me.
Okay. Important it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next one that we have talks about how LVMH is deploying AI tools across operation and they are seeking efficiency and customer retention.
Great, Ankaj. If you could review it as well, would be great.
Sure, Luda. So, Luda, I was between important and optional for this one. So, basically, it talks about the various areas where LVMH is using AI, Gen AI, or predictive AI. So, like here, they mentioned that they have a company wide Gen AI agent called Maya, which is handling 2 million requests a month. So, this is a good example of how to use uh, AI across different functions, but this lacks credible statistics in terms of what they were able to achieve through this. So that's why I was between important and optional for this.
Okay. John, what were your thoughts?
Big O, optional
Big
for sure.
optional because metrics are missing.
Yeah, metrics are missing. I mean, it's great. I mean, here it's fun in the sense that we go back to our wins framework. This is an organization that would be, in next in line. Sorry, would be uh, what was the categorization we had? Not in the crucible, but anyway, well,
You better know your own framework.
I know I got to go back and take a look. It's been a while.
In the balcony, John.
In
In the balcony. We're in the balcony. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Paul, going optional here. What do you think?
Sold.
Yeah. Okay. Optional it is. And this is a comment from Vivek on the prior article. And he thinks that it's important, so supports our rating because for enterprise adoption, it's important. So thank you, Vivek. All right. Let's proceed to the next one, Ankaj.
Luda. So the last one that we have for today comes from Meta, and Mark Zuckerberg is frustrated and is making his biggest AI bet in Scale AI to hire their founder.
John, you already kind of previewed it before.
Yeah.
Tell us more, please.
Yeah, I think this is essential. Look, we've got Meta's a huge player in this thing with their llama models and so forth. He's been investing with the Jan LeCun and folks at FAIR, which is Facebook's AI research center. He's been unhappy with that. The language in here talks about somebody who's, more, they call this guy Wang a battlefield general. He's saying that we're in an existential AI war with China. I agree with him on that. And, this is a young man, I don't know how old he is now, 32, 33, dropped out of MIT, created Scale AI, and it's just done a fantastic job. I think Zuckerberg would go ahead and buy him if it weren't for the fact that, he's being investigated for monopolistic practices. So I think this is super important. Mega player, not happy with being number 2 or 3, even though he's got the leading, open models out there. Although Quen and so forth are starting to catch up. So for me, I would say essential.
I see. So okay. I was on important rather than essential. It's obviously moves Meta into a different category, but they haven't done anything yet. And besides, he has done a big reorg within the company, and that can be quite delaying until the new players actually get going. So I wasn't quite essential. Paul, what did you think?
I was with you, Luda. Important. I think it's another great example of a founder, active CEO with hands on the steering wheel, making big bets. 14 billion is still big for Meta, and we haven't seen that from many other companies, Salesforce, other incumbents out there. So they certainly are reorganized and boldly taking steps in this age of AI.
Yeah, and think about what Scale AI is, right? It's a data labeling company they started in 20, I believe. And yeah, it's a great one. And most OpenAI and Meta are customers to prepare data for the models. So Wong understands what data and how to use it. He's not the model guy necessarily, right? So I just think that there are macro movements within Meta that might or might not get Zach what he's wanting.
Are you predicting that Scale AI may not renew its contracts with OpenAI and some of the Meta competitors?
It's interesting. I don't think so, because I think Meta would err on the business side more than on the puff side. So
they cover about scale AI is being used by 60 to 80% of the large models. So at least in the near term, he's got an unbelievable market intelligence with this.
Yeah, he does. So he's bringing a lot of wisdom with him. Ankash, we're debating important to essential. Where were you?
Important to I think there are two aspects here. One is what Scale AI is already doing, right? So that part is important. But Mark Zuckerberg starting a new company with Scale AI's founder or a new department within Meta, that was optional for me because we have seen Meera Murthy, Ilya, all of them starting companies, right? And all of those news were optional, I believe. So between optional and important.
I see. Okay, important it is. That's our last article. So let's proceed to the scorecard. Any announcements, Paul, John?
No, not really. I would just say that that folks who are thinking about their firms should really pay attention to this thing that we highlighted today in terms of this SEO to bloodbath and the movement. Whether you're talking about getting out to your clients and getting clients or your talent, really understanding how you appear in these models is a today thing. It's not a tomorrow thing or even a yesterday thing. And there's lots of things you have to do. There's technical stuff you need to do with your website. There's content stuff you need to do in terms of what you're writing about, and then there's really talent. Getting the talent that knows how to work in this new environment, which is completely different than optimizing against a 30-year monopoly.
Yeah, and John, at one level, overly simplistic, if the search is like the yellow page has been around forever, hasn't changed that much, this is a radical rechanging yellow pages here. So it needs to be taken care of and pulled up, because usually this is very 5 to 8 levels in the organization.
Yeah, the whole theme, the whole topic is dematuring, because we're going to go from answer engines to, as you've been calling them, Paul, task engines. And those task engines are going to be agents. And how you're going to find yourself in the context of an agentic market is something you need to start thinking about. And it's going to be a pain in the neck. It would be much better to have Google back there and you could optimize around it. But I got bad news for you. This whole thing's dematuring. And how you get customers, serve customers, and get talent is going to be completely different and volatile over the next 10 years.
Yeah. How do you get seen? And the tools to get seen on the web will be changing daily. That's what's happening. And this will be interesting how the companies will be able to stay afloat. Yeah, here.
Speaking of agents, we've been looking for more people who've actually built agents to show at our weekly lab. And this Monday, Dan Slavin is going to show an agent he used with N8N, which is an agent framework we've been hearing a lot of good stuff about, and OpenAI. So that's this Monday at 7.
Okay, Ankash, ready with the card? Here we go. So we have 2 essentials, one from OpenAI O3 Pro, and another about the SEO replacement on the web. And that's very important, as John just mentioned. 2 importance and the rest were optional. So thank you all very much. Paula, Vivek, I really appreciate you being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.